everybody, and welcome to my kitchen. I guess I probably could have done this at my kitchen table too. I already got this all set up. We're not going back. Welcome to my channel. My name is Kira, and I talk about writing and books on this channel and possibly publishing my own books sometime in the future. So today we are going to be talking about my author bucket list slash wildest dreams slash author tube goals. I got a lot of shit to throw in there, but also for some reason I decided that I wanted to repot some of my plants while we're here. I have quite a lot of succulents just everywhere, and so I'm trying to troubleshoot this sad mess because my cat Eugene likes to get up on my counter and dig through the dirt like he's a dog. So I am planting them in smaller bowls and making plant hangers to hang them up. These bowls are a little heavy, but I have some certain ones that I want to move because they're just too big for the thing that they're in right now, but I think these bowls might be too heavy to make a plant hanger out of, to put in a plant hanger. So yeah, I'm just going to be replanting a bunch of my plants from the pots that they're in into bigger pots. Like this one's still in the little pot that it came in when I bought it. We'll start off with the craziest goals that I have on my list of my author tube bucket list, which craziest goal number one would be making it on the New York Times bestsellers list. I think that this is a lot of people's goals when it comes to author tube and being an author and writing books and that type of stuff. Don't judge me, I'm going to use a big spoon as my little trowel because my actual one is too big for this type of stuff. So, what's we want to put here? I think this guy is going to go in one of these because he's definitely too big for this. So, yeah, New York Times bestseller. Second wildest dream that I have is, sorry, I'm like limited on the amount of windowsill space I have just to set things, so that's why I'm putting things in plant hangers. But second wildest goal, wildest, wow, I can't talk, author goal is Fergus, please, thank you. Captain said it's time for him to be fed, and it's not time for him to be fed yet. Is to have my book be made into a movie or a TV show. Preferably, if it's a book series, I want it to be made into a TV show. Obviously, they'd be able to do it more justice than an hour and 30-minute long movie. And then if it's just a standalone book, I'd be fine with it being a movie because you wouldn't have to cut as much for sake of time. So, yeah. Craziest bucket list items. Number three is I don't know why I put this one on the craziest list, but have someone get a tattoo based off of my book. I think that I just put this one on like the craziest list because I don't know if I'll ever get to the point where anybody would want to get a tattoo because they like my book enough, but it would definitely be something that would be fun. Now, starting in the list of bucket list goals that are definitely way more attainable for me and are some things that I'm looking to be able to actually be able to cross off my list in the very near future, like hopefully next year if things go to plan. So number one for obtainable bucket list goals is to publish a book, which obviously is pretty obtainable because I am working on a trilogy, which is Project Dragon. If you've watched any of my videos on my channel, I talk about it quite a lot. It is one of the first books that I've ever actually finished a first draft to. So it's definitely near and dear to my heart. And a lot of times going into the traditional publishing world, you're not as likely to be able to just pitch a series and have them take on said series. Usually they want you to write a standalone with series potential, and then if the standalone sells well enough, then they'll decide from there if they want you to continue writing the books. And at any point in time, they could just tell you to stop. And then depending on what your contract is and stuff, you wouldn't be able to go off and like self-publish or anything because they would own that book. So I'm not going to be trying to traditionally publish Project Dragon so I can tell the story the way that I want it to, and it's not going to get cut short. So, yeah. That is goal number 1. Publish a book. Goal number 2 is to hold a book signing. I think it would be really fun to be able to meet people who have either read my book or want to read my book and sign it and like talk to people about my characters and all that jazz. And I know just based off of watching like Bethany Adazada and Mandy Lynn and who's another one? Well, Kristen Martin, that it's definitely possible for self-published authors to have a book signing of their own. You can do one through Barnes & Nobles. If you talk to like small bookstores in your area, sometimes they're willing to hold one because 1, it will bring business to their store if they're having a book signing of an author, and then 2, yeah, it'll bring business to their store because they have an author they're doing book signing. This dude is spooky. So, there we go. Author goal / bucket list number 3 is being traditionally published. It's always been a dream to be traditionally published. I feel like most of the time when people, pretty much all the time when people think, oh, I'm going to be an author and I'm going to get my books published, the idea is usually to be traditionally published. And another book on my channel that I have talked about, Project Werewolves, which is another book that is one of the first books that I finished. Look at one plant repotted. I'll move him over there. Is Project Werewolves. I talk about that book on this channel too. I wrote the first draft of it during Camp Nano of 2019, and I think that book would be able to be traditionally published because it's a standalone. I don't plan on there being a second book. I don't want there to be a second book. I want the story to be wrapped up by the end. I hate that they do this. If you ever buy cactuses or succulents from Home Depot and they have these on here, they're fake flowers that they hot glue to the top of them. And so my little cactus is struggling to like form because this flower is glued to the top of him and holding him together, and I can't get it off. That other one that I just replanted has one stuck to it too. I don't know why they do that. The cactuses can flower themselves. Why glue a fake flower to it when they can do it themselves? Doesn't make any sense to me. Next thing on my bucket list is I would really like for someone to either make fan art or to write fan fiction about my book. Probably more so the fan fiction avenue because I got my main start of really writing from writing fan fiction and reading fan fiction, reading Harry Potter fan fiction, reading Supernatural fan fiction, reading One Direction fan fiction, writing One Direction fan fiction, writing Supernatural fan fiction. I would really think it would be really fun for someone else to love my story so much that they would want to write fan fiction about my characters. So I feel like that's like a no-brainer if you wrote fan fiction. If you didn't write fan fiction, then it might not be as much of a no-brainer. Some people think fan fiction is weird. I'm not one of those people. Next goal, which would be number 5, is the chance to see my book in a library. I think that would be really fun to be able to walk into a library and pick my book off of a shelf. I just always... Do I want to move that guy into here? Okay, yeah, libraries. Part of the reason why I want my book to be in the library so bad, which I know that it's like all authors want their books to be in libraries. Yes, but the main reason why I want my book to be in a library is because when I was in elementary school, I really found my love for reading, and I was reading a ridiculous amount of books all the time. And in 5th grade, I didn't like going outside for recess because I didn't like running around and stuff. And so I convinced the librarian to let me come in during my recess after lunch and shelve books instead of having to go outside, and then she would send me outside before the bell would ring, and I would line up. And I would spend my recess in the library shelving books, and then kids would come in and knew me from being in the library all the time and would ask me to help them find their books. And I loved it. And then in middle school, when I would wait for my brother to pick me up, I would wait in the library and read. So libraries are just a big thing for me. So it would be really fun to have my book be in a library. Number 6, which I guess could be like more of like a crazy wild dream, but I really want to write an obsession book, which I got this idea from Bethany Adazada. I myself have had my own obsession books where you just like, you finish reading it, you can't stop thinking about it, or you finish reading it and you just immediately start it over again and start reading it from the beginning. Eleanor and Park was a book like that for me. So I really want to be an obsession book for somebody, because I know that sometimes the obsession books just aren't about the fact that the story was well written or anything, although I would want people to like it because the story was well written. But some people, yeah, but for a lot of people, obsession books are also just like, they become coping mechanisms for them. They deeply relate with the characters, and so it makes them feel like they're not alone in the world. It's a lot more than just... They become a lot more than just a book. Just like music or a TV show or a movie could for anybody. Which is kind of what Eleanor and Park became for me. But, anyways, I would really love my book to be an obsession book. Or a book that I write sometime. Because I would love for someone to love my book enough to want to just obsessively read it all the time. And then we can talk about it. Fergus. Seriously. Stay out of the trash. Next thing on my list of bucket of goals, my bucket list, whatever the fuck this video has become, is I want to be able to make a full income on my writing. Can you hear my washer? It's singing. But I want to be able to make a full... Maybe I should wait for the washer to finish singing. Okay. But I would really like to be able to make a full income off of my writing. To be able to say that my books alone make enough money for me to be able to just do that. Not to have another job or many side businesses and shit. And then, last thing I have on my list here, but I do want to talk about my goals for my AuthorTube going forward. The last thing I have on my list is I really want one of my books, or all of my books at some point, to be translated into other languages. I think that that would be really cool. But it'd be really fun to be able to reach other audiences besides English-speaking people. I need way more dirt. But yeah, I know as a self-published author, it's harder, excuse you, to get books translated because you have to like find somebody who wants to buy the rights from you and go through the work of translating your book and stuff, and it definitely would be being traditionally published would be an easier way to I just dumped all of that dirt on top of that plant. Would be an easier way to get my books translated. I also, moving on to another goal that I just like thought of now, I think it would be really fun for my book to be in audiobook form, or any book that I write. I don't listen to audiobooks personally, but that's because I have too short of an attention span for that shit. And I learned very quickly that it takes me longer to listen to an audiobook than it does for me just to sit down and read a book myself, because I get so distracted and I don't pay attention that I have to like constantly go back and rewind and make sure that I heard the things right, and then by the end it's just exhausting. Or if I don't like the narrator, my camera shut off on me. I think it'd be cool to have my book be in audiobook form, so then people who are like blind can read it, or people who just prefer audiobooks can read it. And if you're one of the people out there who think that reading audiobooks doesn't count as reading, get off my channel. I don't want you here. Anyways, yeah, audiobooks. Now, moving on to more my goals for this channel. Who is texting me? So moving on to my goals for this channel, I would really like to get to a point where I am making money off of this channel. Because that would be nice, to be being paid to make these videos. I love making the videos, but so basically one of my goals is to be able to get to 1,000 subscribers so I can be monetized, but also just to get to 1,000 subscribers. I think it'd be really interesting that there would be 1,000 people out there who want to listen to me talk. I already think it's interesting that there are 150 of you that like to listen to me talk. And then lofty goal would don't touch the tripod. Hey, come here. Don't touch the tripod. Yes. Hi, bud. Don't touch my tripod. Fuck, scared the shit out of me. But yeah, a goal would be fun to get to the 100,000 subscribers mark, because I just think it'd be really fun to have a play button. Any other goals that I have? Oh yeah, I have another one written down here that I totally skipped over. I would really like to go on a writing retreat. I think it'd be really fun to just go and hang out with other writers, because as much as I love my boyfriend, he does not like talking about writing as much as I do. So it would be really fun to be able to hang out with other people who actually care about writing and don't just listen to me because they love me. So that's a thing. I didn't mention this at the beginning of the video, but I meant to. Anybody out there watches this video and has cactuses or succulents and are wondering more tips about how to take care of them, or just wondering what soil I'm using and stuff because you want to get one in the future, I just get the cactus, palm, and citrus potting mix from Home Depot. It's this orange bag, and I'm pretty sure they sell it at Walmart too. This bag is $6, and one bag goes a long way, especially if you're only getting like small pots. And if you get to the point where you're like me and you have 1,000,000 of them, you'll go through it more often. But if you aren't at that point like me, anyways, but yeah, one bag of this, $6, and then this is meant to have fast drain. It's supposed to be a fast draining like mixture, because you don't want the water to sit in the soil as much for cactuses and succulents, because they take the water up inside them. So this helps it drain really fast, and then to avoid like root rot and from the roots just sitting in the soil, I also put some rocks in the bottom. I also just buy these from Home Depot. I think this bag was $5 too, and a little bit goes a long way, especially if you're using small pots. And it just helps with extra drainage in the bottom of it, so when you water them. There's somewhere for the extra water to go that the roots are less likely to be sitting in. So those are my tips on how to plant your things, and the sun is going down more and more and it's getting harder for you to see me. So I'm going to end this video, and yeah, two of these plants are going to be going in plant hangers on my windows, so I'll probably put in an update in this video at like somewhere in showing you the plant hangers that I made and showing them in the windows so you can get like the full effect of what I'm doing, I guess. I said I would give you guys an update of my plants. Here is the one cactus. This is what my window looks like with all of my other plants in it. And then this is one of the plants that I put in a plant hanger, and then the rest of my plants are over here. I have 3 more plant hangers, and then there's one of the guys that I repotted, and then the rest of these guys haven't been repotted, they just live over here. But yeah, that's my plant setup. I said I would show you guys, so I'm showing you guys. There we go. That's the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like videos writing related and or book related, I also do like book reviews and stuff on this channel. Please subscribe so you can get notified every time I post a new video. I post videos every Wednesday and Sunday, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!